NFL Hall of Famer Eric Dickerson is back talking about Shedeur Sanders' collateral collusion. He just went off on the Cleveland Browns calling them a horrible franchise and they should cut Shedeur Sanders now. Fans can't believe he said it, and this could change Shedeur's future.
The Cleveland Browns might be breaking records for the most bizarre football decisions ever, and Eric Dickerson has officially had enough. Picture this, a Hall of Fame legend exploding because Shedeur Sanders, yes, Shedeur, is riding the bench like it's a full-time career choice. Why draft fireworks if you're just going to hide them in the basement? This meltdown is part comedy special, part roast, and all chaos. Stick around, because the Browns just made the NFL circus look tame.
A lot of these guys, to me, they throw them in there too fast and too soon. But I mean, that's the age we're in right now. They want the number one picks to play right away, the quarterback. Some of them aren't ready. That's why some of them fail. And it depends on what team you go to. I mean, if you go to a team like the Browns, I mean, honestly, that's not a good football team. I hate to see them. I wish they would have cut it. They didn't have an opportunity at a better football team because, I mean, the Browns have had so many first-round picks and screwed it up. I mean, that's a bad football team. I mean, they were bad when I played. I mean, they were decent. I think they were pretty good, but they're horrible.
If you're enjoying, please subscribe Shedeur Sanders to the channel. It helps more than you think. The Cleveland Browns have a unique talent for turning potential into punchlines. Every season, fans gather with the same hopeful expression, only to be reminded that rooting for this franchise is less about football and more about endurance training. And now, the latest headline isn't about a shocking win, a miracle comeback, or even a sensible roster move.
Is it just me, or does anybody else feel like the Cleveland Browns are playing games with our nephew Shedeur now? I mean, take a look at this. That's not Joe Flacco. That's not Kenny Pickett. That's not even Dylan Gabriel. Yet, and still, you have our nephew Shedeur listed as a fourth string quarterback. And you want to take advantage of a big fat payday off this young black king.
No, it's about Eric Dickerson, one of football's all-time greats, completely losing his mind because Shedeur Sanders is sitting on the sidelines like a glorified cheerleader with better hair. It's the kind of situation that makes you wonder if the Browns are trying to set a Guinness World Record for most talent wasted in one lifetime. Shedeur Sanders isn't just another quarterback with a pretty smile. This is a guy born into football royalty.
So it's interesting now because this is not crazy Uncle Johnny. This is Eric Dickerson, Hall of Fame running back, one of the greatest running backs of all time, coming out and now publicly saying this on the record. He's told Dan Patrick that he has a very good source within the NFL who told him this. It is worth mentioning. It's worth discussing. What do you guys think? Did the NFL collude against Shedeur Sanders? Because by all accounts, if you watch the film from college, if you watch everything he's done from rookie minicamp all the way now through the preseason, in the game against Carolina, during training camp, the kid.
He's got the arm, the name, the swagger, and the ability to turn busted plays into highlight reels. And yet, Cleveland has him tucked away like that expensive bottle of wine your aunt swears she'll open one day but never does. Eric Dickerson, the man who once ran through defenses like they were made of tissue paper, has officially declared he's seen enough. Watching him go off is like witnessing a disappointed dad discovering his kid spent $50,000 on NFTs instead of paying rent.
That he basically didn't want to go to Baltimore, and that he didn't want to sit behind.
Why all of a sudden this comes out?
Lamar.
Why all of a sudden this comes out now? This is after the fact. I don't believe that. I mean, I know that came from I forgot the reporter's name, but I don't believe that. I mean, it's possible, but I just don't believe that. I mean, you know, that would have came out early. I mean,
would any quarterback in his right mind be like, hey, I know you have to sit behind the best in the game, but according to some, I mean, he's the MVP, but wouldn't you learn so much too?
You would learn a lot. I mean, it'd make him a better quarterback. I mean,
the Browns' strategy, or lack thereof, looks like a rejected script from a bad sports comedy. You know the kind, the team with the secret weapon sitting on the bench, while the coach insists the water boy deserves more snaps. And instead of turning it into a feel-good underdog story, Cleveland manages to make it look like a crime against common sense. Picture Dickerson shaking his head as the Browns trot out quarterbacks who play like they're auditioning for a slapstick sketch. Every incomplete pass, every 3-and-out, every head-scratching interception just adds fuel to his fury. It's not that the Browns don't have quarterbacks, it's that they refuse to use the one who might actually know how to play the position. Browns fans aren't asking for Tom Brady reincarnated. They'd settle for someone who can throw the ball to their own team more than once per quarter. Yet somehow, Shedeur is the invisible man on this roster, and Dickerson is calling out the absurdity with the passion of someone who's seen this disaster movie before.
Remember Eric Dickerson? Back in August, when Eric Dickerson dropped that thing on him, and everybody said he was crazy, when he said that the NFL definitely did that thing for Shedeur to drop to the 5th round. Oh yeah, Eric Dickerson doubling down. Most definitely conspired for Shedeur not to be drafted in the 1st round. They wanted to make an example out of him. Y'all don't know who Eric Dickerson is. He's a Hall of Fame running back for the Indianapolis Colts and the Los Angeles Rams.
The irony here is delicious. The Browns fought hard to get Shedeur on the roster, hyped him up like a new superhero, and then promptly locked him in the basement like a family secret. This is the franchise equivalent of buying front-row tickets to a concert and spending the whole night in the parking lot. Dickerson, being a Hall of Famer with zero patience for nonsense, wasn't going to sit quietly while Cleveland perfected its art of football sabotage. His rant isn't just about Shedeur, it's about the Browns' eternal commitment to mediocrity. They've become masters of the what-if scenario. While other franchises experiment with young talent, Cleveland acts like giving Shedeur snaps would cause the Earth's magnetic field to collapse. Instead of seeing what the kid can do, they double down on safer, duller, and infinitely less effective options. The crowd roars for excitement, and the Browns deliver a lukewarm bowl of mashed potatoes. Dickerson's fury makes sense when you consider his career. He was a man who demanded the ball, who thrived on carrying teams on his back. For him, watching Shedeur reduced to a sideline prop is the football equivalent of torture. You can practically hear him muttering, "Give the kid the ball before I suit up myself."
I didn't make that up. That's true.
That's true.
That's true. That's a true statement. I mean, I got it from an inside source. The guy who works for the National Football League. He got it from inside the league. Yeah, I mean, look, it's different for us. I'm just gonna say that, black players, we can't speak out like some of the white players. Nothing against the white players. It's not even about that. We both have the same struggles. I mean, we really do. So it's just sometimes they want to make a statement, to show you that, you're not all that. I know they don't care for his dad. And I think Deion's a great guy.
And honestly, at this point, 60-year-old Eric Dickerson might be a better option than whatever Cleveland is rolling out. The Browns front office, meanwhile, is probably sitting in a boardroom, patting themselves on the back for developing talent slowly. Translation: they're afraid of making a bold move because bold moves require accountability. It's much easier to let Shedeur rot on the bench than to face the music if he plays well and exposes their incompetence. That's Cleveland logic: cover your ears, close your eyes, and hope the fans eventually stop yelling. But fans don't stop yelling. Not in Cleveland, where misery is passed down like an heirloom. They've seen stars wasted, they've endured endless rebuilds, and now they're watching one of the most promising young quarterbacks in the country serve as an overpaid spectator. Shedeur Sanders is the punchline we're all waiting to see, but Cleveland refuses to deliver it. They're committed to dragging this joke out until the crowd starts booing. And the longer they ignore him, the louder legends like Dickerson will shout. At some point, you have to wonder if the Browns enjoy the chaos. Maybe they get a thrill out of watching fans teeter on the edge of madness. Maybe keeping Shedeur sidelined is part of a master plan to remind the world that Cleveland will always find a way to sabotage itself.
What do you think the move for Shedeur is at this point? Do you hope he gets cut? That way he can move on?
I don't wish that for anybody. That's for the Browns. That's for Shedeur. That's for them to do. I mean, I don't think he's gonna get a fair shot there. I don't, because I don't think they really wanted him. I don't think the coach wanted him. They should have fired him too. But I'm not a Browns fan, at all. So I could care less. But I mean, I'm a Shedeur fan. I'm a Deion Sanders fan.
How about those Rams?
How about those Rams? They look pretty good right now.
Whatever the case, it's working. The Browns are once again the center of the NFL circus, and Eric Dickerson just became the ringleader calling them clowns. And the best part? He's right. The Cleveland Browns have somehow managed to make a quarterback depth chart look like a reality show elimination game. Each week, they shuffle names around, toss out half-baked strategies, and act like they're cracking some secret code to football success. Meanwhile, Shedeur Sanders is standing there, helmet on, ready to play, and the coaching staff treats him like an emergency fire extinguisher, only to be used if the entire stadium bursts into flames. This is the same franchise that spent decades searching for their guy, auditioning quarterbacks like contestants on a bad dating show. One week it's someone who looks good on paper but plays like they've never held a football before. His rant was less gentle critique and more volcanic eruption. And really, who could blame him? When you're watching one of the most talented young quarterbacks in the league rot away behind a collection of mediocrity, it feels like an insult to the game itself. Dickerson has seen franchises misuse players before, but the Browns? They've turned it into a full-blown art form.
So Cleveland ESPN has reported that Shedeur Sanders is not receiving any reps. That means no second team, third team, not even scout team reps. Meaning he's just sitting in practice, throwing the ball to whoever and just going through drills all day. No practice reps? No nothing? He can't improve? Why? Why is he not given an opportunity to even improve his skills? That's the whole point of practice. I understand not letting him go with the ones at this point. You've made it clear. Maybe even second team, but not even scout team reps?
Let's break this down. On one hand, you've got Shedeur Sanders, a quarterback with pedigree, poise, and the kind of football IQ that makes defenses sweat. On the other, you've got Cleveland's current lineup, players who sometimes look like they're running drills for a blooper reel. It's the football equivalent of keeping a filet mignon in the fridge while serving everyone microwave hot dogs at Thanksgiving. But what makes it worse is that Cleveland doesn't even seem embarrassed by it. They trot out this mediocrity with the same confidence as someone bragging about their knockoff designer shoes. Look, they're just as good as the real thing. Spoiler, they're not. And everyone can see it, especially Eric Dickerson, whose eyes practically rolled into another dimension watching this circus unfold. The Browns front office will spin it, of course. They'll talk about development timelines, protecting young talent, and building a foundation. Translation? They're terrified. Over the years, they've had first-round picks, big trades, can't-miss prospects, and somehow, they always manage to miss. Watching the Browns manage quarterbacks is like watching someone try to assemble IKEA furniture without instructions. There are always extra pieces, nothing fits, and by the end of it, you're questioning your life choices.
So did the NFL collude against Shedeur Sanders during the draft? The other day now on the Dan Patrick Show, Hall of Fame running back Eric Dickerson is now coming out and publicly making statements about the NFL colluding against Shedeur Sanders. This is what Dickerson had to say. He told Dan Patrick that the NFL told teams do not draft Shedeur Sanders. We're going to make an example out of him. And then somebody called the Browns and said, don't do that, draft him, because the Browns weren't going to draft him either. That was Dickerson's quote. So
enter Eric Dickerson, storming into the conversation like the angry neighbor who's finally had enough of the noise next door. He's not sugarcoating it. He's not playing nice. He's telling Cleveland what fans have been screaming for years: stop hoarding talent like a doomsday prepper and actually use it. And let's not forget the optics here. The Browns could actually win some games with Shedeur under center. Imagine that, an exciting, dynamic quarterback energizing the fanbase, making defenses panic, and, heaven forbid, maybe even pushing the Browns into relevance. But no, Cleveland would rather continue its long-running tradition of finding the hardest way to lose football games. And now, they're losing in a new way, by refusing to unleash the quarterback everyone knows could change everything. It's not just that Shedeur is sitting. It's that he's sitting while the Browns try everything else, fail spectacularly, and then act like they're shocked by the results. It's like watching someone repeatedly touch a hot stove and scream every time they get burned. At some point, you stop feeling sympathy and start asking if they enjoy the pain.
With my prime equity clause theory, I said that these players coming out of college with the NILs, they have brands now. The NFL is afraid of these players coming in the NFL with these big brands, these big followings already of their own, where they don't need all that NFL money. So guess what? Shedeur is the prime example of what is the future to come, and the NFL don't know how to deal with it. So what you got to do? You got to do a punishment, a show and tell. We got to treat somebody that's already doing it badly to show these other players that you ain't come into the NFL and do the same thing.
Meanwhile, Shedeur Sanders is playing the long game. He knows what he can do, and he's waiting for the Browns to figure it out. But if we're being honest, waiting for Cleveland to figure something out is like waiting for a pigeon to solve a Rubik's Cube. Possible? Sure. Likely? Absolutely not. Dickerson knows this too. That's why his outburst hit so hard. He wasn't just venting frustration, he was holding up a mirror to a franchise that has spent decades avoiding self-reflection. He was essentially saying, look at yourselves. You've got the tools, the talent, and the opportunity, and you're choosing to throw it all away. And when it comes from a legend like Dickerson, it carries weight. Of course, Cleveland will probably shrug it off. They'll talk about sticking to the plan and trusting the process, as if fans haven't heard that broken record before. But here's the problem, the process in Cleveland never seems to lead anywhere. It's like being stuck on a treadmill that only goes backwards. The harder they try, the further away success seems to get. And while all this nonsense plays out, other teams are laughing. Opposing coaches must look at the Browns' refusal to play Shedeur like a gift from the football gods. Oh, they're keeping their best quarterback on the bench again? Fantastic. Let's rack up some easy wins. Cleveland isn't just sabotaging themselves, they're making everyone else's job easier.
First of all, man, listen, idiot. Wearing a Rolex and doing this after a dance is not a bad thing. Shedeur Sanders has never been arrested, never broke the law. He's a perfect citizen. And how many flashy ass guys you know that got drafted that came in the league flashy, talking big with big mouths and a lot of fanfare, that had a lot of stuff going on, that got into the league? I mean, it's a tons of people, especially at the quarterback position. So you can miss me with that bullshit. The NFL is not a Catholic league, man. With a flashy watch. I thought you was gonna talk about a criminal report or something. See, this is how the establishment think, by the way. This is the establishment thought process on this kid. Yeah.
At this point, Browns fans are caught between fury and exhaustion. They want to believe. They want to see progress. But every season feels like Groundhog Day, and this Shedeur situation is just the latest cruel twist. It's one thing to lose because you lack talent. It's another to lose because you're actively ignoring it. And that's the kind of insanity that makes Eric Dickerson go nuclear. The sad part? He's not wrong. He's not exaggerating. He's not even being particularly controversial. He's just saying out loud what everyone else already knows. The Browns are wasting Shedeur Sanders, and it's one of the dumbest decisions in sports right now. But here's the twist that makes this whole mess almost funny. If the Browns finally cave and let Shedeur play, he could save them. He could turn this franchise into something resembling a contender. He could make Eric Dickerson look prophetic. And you just know,